All right, welcome everyone. My name is Janice Armstrong. I'm the president of the Board of Trustees here at the Hunterdon County Historical Society. And I just want to welcome you all. It's great to see everyone here. We have some business we have to take care of first because this is our annual meeting. So we're going to try to keep it as short as possible so we can get on to our speaker. So we're going to start with our trustee, Roger Ahrens, and he's going to tell you about a fundraising initiative that we have going on.
Yes, I'd like to. Last fall, we were given a fabulous collection of 900 glass plate negatives. These glass plate negatives are very similar to the glass plate negatives that were used by Matthew Brady when he took photographs during the Civil War. And these photographs are all of Flemington and its residents from the 1880s all the way up to the 1920s. We're going to show you some of these pictures just to give you a taste of what they're like. If you notice, there's a cup. And does anyone recognize that building? Is it the old high school? Dave, another? This looks like a group of young ladies that are part of a club, although I see two gentlemen too. Dave, if you show the next one. A farm scene, and you'll see there's a young man pushing a wheelbarrow, obviously up what is a farm lane that goes around to the front of the house. This is taken somewhere in town. Notice the incredible gingerbread on top of the house. Anybody recognize where that is?
Was that in Florida?
Great. A baseball team. Notice the catcher's mitt and the two catcher's gloves on the young man sitting in the front row. This is a group that looks like a thespian group that's ready to do a play. If you'll notice, there's some military gear, gentlemen with top hats. We're going to try to find out as much about this collection as we possibly can. Lastly, this is a picture. If you notice, it's a fire truck, and you'll see the hoses around the circular drum where the hoses are wrapped. And of course, it's a horse-drawn fire truck. And this is the wonderful gentleman and his wife who is responsible for all of these photographs. All told, there are 900 of them. Now, the reason that you're getting this commercial from me is, anybody identify what this is? It's a box, right. But it's a very special kind of box. And let me show you what it is.
We're going to find this.
You're going to find out in 1 second. This box has plastic sleeves, and it's segmented with little pieces that come apart. This is the kind of box that we need to save these glass plate negatives. If we don't put them in sleeves and put them in a climate-controlled environment, in a special box like this that's acid-free, they will eventually disintegrate and they'll be gone. We don't want to lose these. We need 60 of these boxes. The trustees have created the Striker Challenge, and the trustees have already contributed to buy 15 of them. We're looking for 45 more. We're hoping that some of you will consider making a donation of $18.50 to buy a box and its accompanying sleeves and help us save this fabulous collection. John Allen has passed out a number of brochures, yellow forms, where you can send in your check. If some of you have cash and want to make a contribution, we'd be delighted. Dave has receipts and I have change. But hopefully you will help us with this, accept the challenge, and we look forward to saving this collection for posterity. Thank you very much.
We had one comment here from Lois. Lois?
I just wanted to say, because it took the picture away. If that
Oh,
was,
sorry, I can go back to it if you like.
I just wanted to say who that was and tell people that's Asher Stryker
Oh, here.
and his wife. And his daughter, Jean Hunt, still lives on Spring Street. She was born in her family home, and she just celebrated her 100th birthday around her home. And so I just wanted to say that Asher Stryker's daughter still lives in Huntington, New Jersey. And Asher Stryker had a small store, a whatnot store, I remember it, on Main Street where Don Schumann's office is, right there on Main Street. Just wanted to give that.
Hey, can I just tack on real quick something to that? The photos were donated by Jean and through her son Alan Hunt. And I spent an afternoon a couple months back with Jean, interviewing her, put together an oral history, and to talk about her recollections of Flemington and her father. So we'll have some write-ups and things like that available for everybody.
And Jean loves visitors, so you want to go visit.
And she's great. I mean,
Yes,
she's
her mind is perfect.
sharp.
She's housebound and she likes visitors.
It was the greatest toy and game show in the town. Shop.
All right, so hopefully you can see what kind of work we're doing, and like everything, it costs a lot of money, but we want to preserve these glass plates. So, yes,
Will the series be posted anywhere online?
at some point, yes, we're actually, that's one of our initiatives is digitization. So hopefully, yeah, that's part of our plan. Yeah, on our website, it'd be part of our online catalog. All right, on to the next bit of business, which is voting on our bylaws. So every so often, the organization updates its bylaws, and we have finally updated them. And Ken Cummins, who's our vice president, he's going to talk to you a little bit about what we did, and if you are a member, we will ask you to vote yes, please.
Thank you, Janice. Bylaws are the rules by which an organization operates. And when you start operating differently than your bylaws, then you need to do one of two things. You either need to change the bylaws or you need to change what you're doing. We elected to change the bylaws. This has not been done since 2009, and Stephanie Stevens back here was instrumental in doing the bylaws in 2009, and she recognizes that we need to make some changes in how we operate. So Stephanie's going to vote yes on the bylaws.
Yes.
I want to make a couple of comments about some of the changes that we've made. We've certainly changed some of the language and put in place of missions. We put a mission statement. It is now section 2 in the new bylaws, and it's now called purpose rather than mission statement. We've changed to 2 classes of members. We have only general members and honorary members. Before we had a number of different membership categories, but not actually classes of members. The meeting of members is delineated. We had to put a time of the year and so forth, and how we're going to conduct our annual meeting. And this is the annual meeting for this year, and so we only have that one time a year, and so it's appropriate to have a vote on the bylaws at this point in time. The members have only two purposes in terms of business of the organization. That is, they vote on the bylaws and the elected trustees, which you're going to do in just a minute. The trustees of the organization are the ones that are responsible for doing the business of the organization throughout the year. And so we had to make some changes in terms of Article 4 of the bylaws about how the trustees are going to operate, the terms of service and so forth. And so that's all a part of the changes that are being made. The officers, we are deleting one of the officers. It's one called corresponding secretary. And now that we have employees and so forth, actually Dave, our executive director, has assumed most of the responsibility of being corresponding secretary. So we no longer need that office. There are several other changes that we've made relative to talking about finances and how finances are to be handled, and how we make sure that our books are in order and so forth. And so that's all spelled out in the new bylaws. We also have employees that we really did not account for in the original bylaws, and so we've made a provision in the bylaws in Article 9 to talk about employees, and also when we hire consultants, how that is to be handled. And lastly, the amendments can be made to the bylaws, and that's the way we will make changes to the bylaws. And at this point in time, I move the approval of the new revised bylaws of the society. Madam President, motions before the House.
All right, do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right.
Hearing none? Thank you very much. By the way, Robert's Rules of Order is the book that we use to tell us how to conduct a meeting, and that's going to be also mentioned in the bylaws that this is the official code of conduct and so forth for the organization.
All right, thank you, Ken. All right, next I would like to recognize we have two trustees that are retiring from the board. And one of them is John Matson. John has been our secretary for many, many years, and he's also a dedicated archive volunteer. He has been great at attending best practices workshops and keeping up with the latest trends in historical societies and museums. So John, could you stand for a minute, please? And I'd like to and I can tell you he's not going away. He's going to keep working as an archive volunteer. He's very valuable to us, and we don't let anybody go. The other person that is retiring, and I don't believe he's here, is Howard Thomas. And Howard has always been there for us to do what we call the heavy lifting. And I mean that literally, because if you needed plaster removed, ask Howard. He would take care of it. If you needed Christmas trees carried from the attic or down or up, he was there. And most recently, you may have seen a photo of him. He dug up the stone marker that was out in front of the Dork house that was really being damaged by the weather. And he dug it up and moved it inside. So he will be sadly missed, but again, nobody gets to go away, so I'm sure we'll be calling him. And Howard isn't here, is he? Oh, I'd like to hear a round of applause for him. And we thank you, John and Howard, for your service to the organization. Now, of course, we have to fill those positions, and we have two new people coming on board. We have, and I guess I have to nominate them is the proper way to do it. So I am nominating Rick Epstein, and if you, some of you may know him. He's from Frenchtown. He's the borough historian. He does lots of walking tours there in Frenchtown. He was formerly the managing editor of the Delaware Valley News and Hunterdon County Democrat. And currently, he's working at Del Val High School, helping them promote things that are going on there with stories and photos. And our other person that's coming on board is Bill Honachevsky, and he's from Clinton Township. He's involved in the Union Forge Association, Solitude House, and most recently the Joseph Turner House. And from his resume, I'm hoping I got this right. Bill had a past career in law enforcement. I think that was correct. But so I would like to put up and Rick and Bill, would you just stand up so people can see who you are? Yeah, there they are. Do I hear a second? All right, Lois, thank you very much. All those in favor of them becoming trustees?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, great. So glad to have you on board. All right, the last thing I want to do real quick before we start our program, I just want to highlight last year and then tell you just what's coming up for this year. So, first of all, I think the most important thing, our highlights from the last year was we stayed open. We still had things going on. So, and we have to thank our staff for that. Dave Harding, who's our administrator, Pam Robinson, our librarian, and Don Cornelius, who's our manuscript curator. They kept working. So I'd like to All right, we had lectures via Zoom and in person. We hosted 2 open houses at the Doric House. We now have the e-blast email newsletter that some of you may be getting, which Dave does a wonderful job with that. We filled 103 research inquiries, and we have just shy of 500 members in the Historical Society. Also, we want to thank our many, many volunteers. We couldn't do it without all the volunteers. We have ladies that are folding and refolding our quilt. We have people that work in the evening on our collections and entering things into Past Perfect. And we have, lots and lots of activities. For the upcoming year, we're hoping to open the Dietz Thatcher Native American collection, which is on the 2nd floor of the Flemington Public Library. There's been a group that has been working on that. We have started a legacy program, and Roger has spearheaded that, where you can name Hunterdon County Historical Society in your will. So if you are interested in doing that, Roger can help you out. We have Betty DeSapio coming to do a genealogical program in June. We have a book sale coming up. For years we had a book sale every year, and Mary Ellen Sullivan, who was one of our trustees, passed away. And so it kind of didn't happen for a couple years now. And so we have several of our trustees now going through books, and so we will be letting you know about book sale. We're doing walking tours in partnership with the 10300. We have John Cool is doing one of Three Bridges. I've got one of Flemington, and Dave, you're doing Ringo's?
Yes, I'm doing 2 of Ringo's.
Okay, so those, if you're interested in those, are on this 300 site. We're hoping that our Doric House, which is connected to our library, we're hoping it gets a new porch because the front porch is rotten. So, but nothing is easy. We had to have archaeology done, and then there's going to be drainage done. So if you see things, if you see the front yard dug up, that's what's going on. And lastly, we are starting the strategic planning process through LaSalle University's nonprofit center. So we're planning for the future of the Historical Society. We want to see it go another 137 years. So, but we need to think ahead a little bit. And lastly, I'd like to say, we need you to become a member if you have not already. We need your financial support. We need volunteers. If you're interested in being a trustee, let us know. We also are seeking corporate support for events and exhibits. So just call. Dave is there and we'll talk to you, whatever you're interested in offering. And with that, are there any questions? All right.